super stoked to have you here today, man.
I'm super pumped to be here.
Yeah,
I'm awesome for asking. Thank you.
No, and you know, I mentioned to you that this is really, at the end of the day, is a passion project. Trying to show a little new things to my son. You know, he's getting around that teenage, the teenage years and
the fun teenage years
where everything can either go right or can go wrong. I guess, you know. I mean, it really depends, right?
Yeah.
But more than anything, man, like just super excited to have you here. One, because I've recently gotten to know you a little bit over the past almost a month now, right?
Yeah, it's been like maybe a little over a month.
Yeah. But really just wanted to kind of hear your story, man. Like get to know who really Justin Vidal really is, right?
Dang.
And like, you know, I know you've gone through a few adversities in your life. You have a few passions that you kind of pursue.
Absolutely.
And then you're obviously a professional man as well. Something that you're really, really good at. So just, you know, really the whole point of this is just to kind of get to know you better so that your story gets out there. You know, a lot of people, we're normal, regular folks, but sometimes our stories can be as interesting as, you know, as the people that maybe are in Hollywood or not. But it's just, you know, it's all about being heard.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I love that you're doing this to show your son what's possible with, you know, just a little creativity and a little work ethic.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I appreciate that.
I think that's extremely important. And I think that's why a lot of people feel trapped in what they're doing now is because they haven't been shown that. And sometimes it has to be shown. Some people just have it and they just know I could do this. I want to do this, so I'm going to, and they figure out how to do it. Some people need to be shown it, and there's nothing wrong with having to be shown it, but they got to.
Yeah.
So I love that you're doing it for
No,
me.
man. I again, you know, it's just one of those things that, I mean, hopefully everything, you know, again, it's like I said, just like you have your own passions, I have my own passions, but this is just something for, I guess, you know, for people to know that, you know, there's wonderful people locally here as well in the Valley.
Cool.
You know, just we're all doing our own thing, hardworking people, ethical people with values, right? And just you know, everybody has their own story and everybody has their own little way that they tick, I guess, if you want to call it that way, right?
I like it.
But yeah, man, guide me through your journey, man. So I know I don't want to talk for you, but I know for you, one of the things that I kind of like that drew me to start talking a little bit more to you was your passion for music, right? Well, that's one of those things. And then on top of that, I know we've shared a few things in regards to, like, you know, how successful you've been with your career as well.
Yep.
And then some adversities that you've like dealt with just overall in your life since a young age.
Yeah, and I think the cool part is that they all clash at some point.
Okay.
You know, and that's, I think, the fun story. And, you know, hopefully others can use it and of course, I don't realize it during the time, but looking back on it now, looking 5, 10, 15 years ago, I'm like, damn, I did that.
Yeah.
And I was going through that at the same time. Like, how did I do that? Well, because I had to, because I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where that all comes from. So, yeah, you want me to start with the passion of the music? Because that's my favorite thing to talk about.
If whatever you want to start with, man, I'm down. I just, you know, let's get to know you.
Yeah. So, my name's Justin Vidal. Born and raised in Murrieta. Always lived in California. I went to Cal State Fullerton for school, for college, and jumped around. Ended up studying kinesiology there, where I met my now wife, Lisa.
Nice.
Badass woman.
Cool.
We got 2 beautiful little ladies, 6 and 4, Kimber and Kaya.
Fun ages. Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, they are crazy, and they think they're little teenagers already, I guess. So everyone told me wait till they're teenagers. I was like, I don't know what could get crazier than right now, but all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the journey of music, you know, I got my first drum set when I was in 3rd grade.
Okay.
My dad had, and my mom had it, me and my brother in piano. I have a younger brother and I have 2 younger sisters. There's a 6-year gap between the 4 of us.
Wow.
But all musicians. My mom's a dance teacher, as you know.
Yes.
Dad's a martial arts instructor, plus also a, you know, professional guy on the other side. But yeah, put us both in piano. I hated it. My brother excelled at it.
Really?
Still does. He's
Really?
an amazing pianist.
Okay.
And I was like, this is not for me. It was like He's also like a math whiz guy, and I am not whatsoever.
So quick question: what ages were you both when your parents started like giving you like or they put you in piano lessons?
Yeah, I want to say like maybe first or second grade.
Yeah, so like a really young age.
Yeah, 6, 7, probably.
Cool. Yeah.
I would imagine. I'm trying to think because like I just put my older daughter in piano, and we waited till she was 6. So I'd imagine, I don't know, maybe he started when he was 5.
Yeah.
I would say 6 or 7 because right after that, I stopped that for a little bit. But my uncle, we were over at his house, my dad's brother.
Yeah.
And he was selling a drum set. And it was a drum set that my dad and him actually used in a band that they were in college.
Oh,
so my
okay.
dad was always in a band too.
Yeah, yeah.
The Turbos.
The Turbos.
Super cool, like beach punk. It was like
really
awesome.
That sounds
I actually
pretty cool.
ended up taking a cassette, like my dad had like an 8-track, and I took the machine and I plugged it in and I got it onto a cassette tape. Then I took the cassette tape and I got this little thing and I plugged it into the computer and pulled it into Pro Tools and mixed it a little bit so I could get it digitally.
Really?
So I could keep it forever because I love it.
That's so cool.
Super cool. Totally got off track there. But
No, that's good.
anyways, I was over at his. We were over at my uncle's house. I was in 3rd grade. They had the drum set. It's a classic Ludwig, like plexiglass, red, white, and blue.
Okay.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, I want to play that thing. So my dad's like, you're selling that set? And he's like, yeah, I don't have space for it anymore. So we ended up bringing it home, setting it up in the living room in the house.
Yeah.
I was a drummer ever since.
Really?
Played on them every single day. Absolutely loved him. My dad started showing music to start learning. He's like, you got to learn the Police. You got to learn Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
All that.
The classics.
Classic rock. Yeah. And then, of course, I started learning that, which that's some advanced drumming in that stuff.
Yeah.
But I started meeting other kids. So, I'm in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'm playing those younger while I'm in elementary school. We lived right across the street from Chevela, which is, where I went for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I'd be playing in the garage while they were getting out of school, and I'd have the garage cracked a little bit.
Yeah.
And these kids would start poking their heads in, the older kids. And they'd start coming in, and a few times they'd be like, man, that's cool. You play drums, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're pretty good. You're little, but you're like really good. I was like, cool, man, thanks. And they're like, could we like bring our guitars over and jam sometime after school?
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, Mom, can these kids come play, And she's like, yeah, of course. So these kids started bringing their guitars over. And I like instantly was like in a band.
Yeah.
When I was like in 4th grade.
Wow.
5th grade. And these kids were playing. So we were playing Judas Priest and Metallica.
Yeah.
These like hard metal ones, which is funny because the drumming is actually a little easier in those. I just learned how to hit really hard.
Yeah.
And that's like my style. Like I just, I think the drums sound better when you hit them harder.
Yeah.
I had to change that whole thought process on the music I do now, but for my whole life, like that is where the soul comes from for me and the drums. So these kids were coming over, we play, I'm learning these songs and I'm jamming with these older kids. So I think it's really cool because a lot of musicians that I talk to and a lot of drummers, sometimes they are an amazing drummer and they can be extremely technical.
Okay.
But you stick them with a band and everything goes out the window.
Really?
Because playing with other people, you have to know how to vibe with other people in the room. So it's a very big distinction. So I was lucky to be able to have the opportunity to get that and feel that
Gotcha.
and learn off of that from an extremely young age, playing in a band when you're in 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah.
And vibing off other people and learning, the looks at each other when you want to hit something different or when things are supposed to come down or increase or get big. So, that's kind of where all that started. And then my dad put a guitar in my hand, said, you should learn the guitar. My dad kept throwing instruments at me. So he got me a guitar. I was playing in like 6th grade, maybe 5th even.
Okay.
Picked it up and I was like, oh, my fingers hurt. Let me get back to the drum set.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that. Did it again in 6th grade. Tried it again. I was like, no, I don't like it. Put it down again. 7th grade, I was really into Metallica.
Yeah.
And I had pretty much learned every song I could on the drums and I could crush it. I was like, I really want to learn the guitar on these now. So I got a guitar, a different guitar. My dad got me. It was like trying different little guitars for me. Like steel string, electric, acoustic, nylon string. So finally, I don't know why it happened like this. It's like the hardest way to do it. But he had a 12-string guitar.
Okay. A 12-string
A
guitar.
12-string guitar, and
Jesus.
I love the sound. I loved the sound of it.
Yeah.
So it's just big and it's harmonic and it's full.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I love this. So I said, Dad, I'm ready to learn guitar now. So I was like, I want to learn Stairway to Heaven. So
Beautiful song, by the way. I mean, honestly.
right? I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
It's the one song that they're not allowed to play in a shop, but normally they have like, don't play Stairway to Heaven. Like, everybody knows that song. But the cool part was he taught me it. It took me about, I think it took me about like 2 weeks to like learn the song.
Yeah.
And then it took me a couple months to be able to play the song.
Okay.
But I was playing on a 12-string, and that song has everything you need in it. It teaches you how to pluck. It teaches you a lot of different chords.
Yeah.
There's solos. So you get a whole array of how to do stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was able to start learning all the Metallica songs I wanted to learn.
Gotcha. So
that
it was like
it.
your foundation to be
That
able
was my
to like,
foundation.
open it up to everything else. How
And then I
cool.
started learning all of the classics again. I went back to like Styx and Journey and Boston
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
stuff that I was really, the core of my music passion. So, yeah, that's where that started. And then after I started playing the guitar, my dad had a bass. My dad played the bass in the band.
I was just about to ask you, like, what was your dad playing with the turbos?
bass.
Okay.
Yeah, bass and singing.
Bass and singing.
Bass and singing, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Which is, I always think is incredible. Like when you think about, Sting from the Police, like he plays these complicated timing, and
Yeah.
complicated parts on the bass and is singing in different time signatures and everything. And it's always crazy to me. I've tried to play like Driven to Tears on the bass and like sing and everything. I'm like, no way. Do, 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 do. And I'm like, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's when I picked up the guitar. That's when I picked up the bass. And then in about, by the end of 7th grade to 8th grade, I told my dad, like, I could hear the instruments together.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to learn how to record.
Okay.
So he got me like an 8-track Roland, like pretty cool.
Yeah.
But to put it in time frame, it burnt to a CD that was in there.
Damn, CDs,
Yeah,
bro. Like, I mean,
hell yeah.
that times us,
Man, I still have it.
Really?
And I have all my original stuff that I wrote and recorded when I was in 7th and 8th grade.
Wow.
But it's broken.
Okay.
And I don't know who to go to. So if anyone's watching this and you know how to fix these things, please hit me up.
Yeah.
I want it to work so that I can hear these songs again and
Dude, that'd be cool.
get them on my DAW.
Yeah.
God, I haven't thought about this stuff in a long time. It's fun to talk about. So I started recording music then. Started
Cool.
learning how to layer tracks,
Yeah, how'd you get into like recording? I mean, because for example, mind you, right? YouTube, I don't know if it was back then the way it is now. Because I mean, now
That stuff wasn't even around yet.
right. I mean, really, nowadays you want to learn how to do something, you go to YouTube and you kind of look at an expert
Yeah.
talking about it, and like you kind of figure it out, right?
Yep.
If you really want to put the time into it. But back then, I mean, how'd you get into that?
No, me and my dad just kind of figured it out together.
Cool,
Like
cool.
he had some experience with recording, but
Yeah.
of course his recording was totally different too because they were recording to tape.
Yeah, imagine that.
And he's like, wow, they got digital stuff now. And I'm like, cool, can I have one? And he's like, these things are freaking expensive.
Yeah.
But he saw how bad I wanted it and he got me one and it was badass. So like I started learning, how to use it. I just figure it out.
Yeah.
I just sit there for hours. I'd
Right.
sit there all night long after school. I'd come home and be like, I'm either going to watch Pink Floyd The Wall movie and like zone out, or I'm going to record music.
Yeah.
So it was kind of both.
But the cool thing is that your dad saw the passion and he saw like that.
Oh, he
this was
fed me,
yeah.
dude.
That because not
it.
anybody would be like, oh, you know what, this is just gonna be something like you're gonna waste your time. So why would I even invest in something so expensive, a piece of equipment so
Yeah.
expensive to give
Yeah, like, is it going to get used?
Yeah. So I mean, that's really cool that your dad really saw what the passion that you started developing at a young age, right? I mean, the talent
Absolutely.
too, because obviously, if you have the talent, not everybody has that type of talent.
It would excite him when
Yeah.
I would do stuff.
Oh, I bet, because I'm sure he saw, like a little bit of himself in you.
For sure.
I know that I have that feeling, sometimes with my children for specific things. So I'm,
Yeah.
especially with music, if you guys share that passion, then it's so cool.
Yeah, and it is amazing because he was always the one that showed me music, showed me the classic rock, and we
Yeah.
just rock out. We go to Bishop every year to go fishing, and that's what we do. We just listen to music and
Yeah.
rock out since I can remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd figure that recording stuff out, and then I just kind of took off from there with it by myself. And then I'd just be like, Dad, listen what I did. And he would be like, holy crap, this is good.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is cool. Like you're good at this, which would obviously make me feel really good. So I keep going. But, then I didn't know all the stuff that I know now, which I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. I'm just I've always been the artist. I've never been the engineer.
Gotcha.
And just a few years ago, I really wanted to get in the engineering side so I can because you can only get the sound in your head out of the speakers if you're the one doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. So I'm like, I want to start learning how to do that. So back then it was more of what it should be really, which is getting the good recording going in. So I'd learn how to set up a mic.
Okay.
I'd learn how to record my guitar and I'd just move around until it sounded cool in my headphones. I'd record a guitar part, get a metronome going, record a guitar. And then most of the time I was doing guitar and then I would sing over it.
Yeah.
What got really fun was when I started learning, I was like, oh my gosh, I can layer multiple vocals.
Right.
So I'd start harmonizing with myself and I was like, there's the emotion. You hit some harmonies on there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound pro.
Yeah.
I was little and I wasn't pro, but for sure, it for me was like a stepping stone. I was like, tracks. I can record multiple of myself.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to do a rhythm guitar. Then I'm going to sing the main things. Then I'm going to harmonize. Ooh, now I can add a guitar solo.
Cool.
Now I can set up a couple mics. I'd set one mic up in front of my drum set and I would play the drums and I would just move the mic around until I got the best balance that I could get.
Gotcha.
Over here. And it always ended up being kind of just out, up, but make sure I was getting that kick, make sure I was getting the kick, but not too much kick, and then getting some of the toms and the cymbals. And so I would set one mic up in there and then I started doing two mics because I could plug more in. And it just kind of, it just goes from there. And then I would be like, Brad, can I record you playing the piano? Can I do this? And I'd just start doing everything that I could get my hands on, start recording sounds.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to get those freaking tracks back. They're just all on CDs, in a big CD sleeve that you hang up on the back of a door.
That's crazy.
It's like Metallica, Judas Priest, The Police, and then it's like, oh, original. I'm like, oh, I want to hear those.
Dude, that'd be crazy.
Old school CDs.
Hopefully you can. I mean, I'm sure there has to be a way to.
Someone's got it. I haven't put the effort in like I should to find someone that knows how to work on them, but I have it. I have a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
So when that stopped working, I got a new one. I got actually a smaller digital portable station.
Okay.
And that's what I used in college.
Got it.
Much smaller, not a CD. It was just digital, so I could plug it into a computer and pull the stuff off on there. But I wouldn't record on there. I'd do everything on that station.
Got
but
it.
it's cool because I have them all, so it's cool to see the changes. I have this big one on a CD, and then I have this little black one that was all digital, fully digital, no CD. And then I had one more after that. I don't even know where that one is though. I didn't do much with that one. And then immediately it was like, okay, it's time to get into Pro Tools. Time to do this on the computer.
Yeah.
And that was in college. And that's when my production started really turning into productions. I would have full strong structures to a song, and I could actually move stuff around. These other ones I was doing it on, maybe you probably could because they were advanced, but I never took it to that level. I was just I'll record it when the song's done.
Yeah.
And then I'll go through and record each thing, and that's my song.
Gotcha.
So,
but that's still pretty cool. I mean, obviously, right? The passion is there, so it's what drives you to continue to learn about this stuff, and it just keeps pushing you. And then oh man, I've done this, now I can do this, or you continue to discover. And every time, I guess the good thing is, right? If you have specific goals, or you have a specific way you want to sound, because of artists that you listen to or what have you, then you can continue to play around until you sound similar to that specific person or band or artist, and then you're like, hey, I'm that much closer to sounding professional, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So cool.
And training your ear to be able to get to that is you start realizing it's not the type of music that you want to sound like. It's it's the space that the music is in, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's what do you like? Do you like the music that sounds all trippy and you're floating around space?
Okay.
Or do you like the music that sounds super live and up close and personal, like you're in a blues club?
Right.
Or right here, a band playing right here is going to sound a lot different than in a stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So what's that space that you're looking for? And what do you want to do? And then it's more about when you start really getting into that, you find that it's hard to find yourself making your own music, especially when you're doing it all yourself. Because when I do something and I want to change something, I got to go through and change all the instruments for that.
Right.
One hit, one little, I don't know, one accent that I feel is not accented enough. It's like, okay, I need to go through, I need to change the guitar part, I need to change the bass part, I need to change the drum part.
It affects everything.
I need to change the vocals. It affects, I mean, you got to go down the line. It's not like I'm sitting there with a band and I'm like, let's try this.
Right,
Boom,
right.
record it. Boom, all done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool though.
But
It's super fun.
it's super cool because, you know, like, I think I mentioned this to you the other day that I was reading a book, and this guy is also like in the music industry, and his thing was, you don't realize how many hats you put on, really, right? Because he had the same issue that you did, which is he wanted his music to sound the way it came out, you know, like it was in his head.
Yeah.
And he had tried different things, and it just wasn't doing it for him. You know, it wasn't satisfying him enough to like record with other people, do other stuff, because it wasn't the sound that was right in his head. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so he started doing all these things. He learned about engineering. He learned about how to play all these, you know, like different things. And then finally, right, when he made it big, he's like, you know, you don't really go down the line and say, oh, I've done that, or I've had these many titles, because you don't look at it that way. You're just trying to chase the goal, chase the passion,
Yeah.
which ultimately is just, you know, for you to record and put that, you know, that music out there, right?
It's just trying to achieve what's in here.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can to get there. And it's just this lifelong journey, I imagine. So I'm going to keep going.
No, that's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, the type of music that you do,
Yeah.
because, you know, you started with all these rock classics
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? And then through college, did any of the, like, as you continue to expand and learn on all that stuff, did anything change, or is that where the change came for the music?
Yeah. I've always listened to reggae,
Okay.
which is like, I strive to make more authentic style reggae now, but it's also has a lot of my rock influence in it.
Okay.
And I tried both. I tried saying like, I'm going to do reggae rock, like all the Cali reggae rock people. And then I was like, no, I want to try to do like authentic, like Jamaican reggae.
Yeah.
So I started changing the way I play the drums, doing this, doing that. And those songs never got fully completed because I realized I was trying to do something that wasn't me.
Got it.
Like me is, I love reggae. I love the feel of reggae. I love how it makes you move. But I have a rock background. So my drums are, I can play reggae beats, but when I jump into fills or I like want a beat to hit or something, it ends up being more like rock style. So I'm like, I'm just going to let it flow. I'm done trying to do this or trying to do that. I want to focus more on getting the sound quality to be right and the engineering side of things and really focus on that. Why am I trying to change what kind of music I do? But I had to go down that path to figure it out. So like now, it's become way more fun for me. I'm more picky now, so it takes me a while, but it has become more fun for me now because I'm like, I'll write a reggae riff. It'll be totally reggae, and I'll add the drums to it, and you've got this totally, just this reggae vibe.
Yeah.
And then I start singing, and it might not be how a normal, full-on reggae artist would sing, but that's how I would sing.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna do it.
Right, because it's your. I mean, you have to put right. It has to have your soul, right?
I gotta feel
it. You can't.
Gotta feel it.
You can't. I think you're really onto something there because you really don't want to imitate anybody else, right?
No,
you want to be
don't.
your own self, and however it comes out, however you again listen to it in your head or it comes out through your, it just has to be you.
Yeah, and you can hear it come through the speakers if someone is feeling what they're singing or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I've got some songs out that you can tell. I felt it and I was loving it.
Yeah.
I was either having fun or I was sad or, I was emotional or I felt passionate. And then I have some songs out there that I'm like, I think it's a good song still, but when I listen back, I'm not like, I don't want to start singing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you want to sing it afterwards. You want to hear it.
But they're still
time.
part of your journey.
Definitely part of the journey.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I still love the songs
Yeah.
and they still have deep meanings behind them. All my songs have good meanings, for me.
Yeah.
Deep meanings behind. But you can hear even popular music, like you can hear when someone is feeling what they're singing. No matter how much processing you put on things, you can't change emotion in singing.
True.
Unless you're like a super badass engineer, and I don't know about those, but they're like, he sounds like not pumped. Make him sound excited.
Right.
Here you go. Good.
So, along throughout this whole journey, right? And I want to play like a little your latest song, your latest single that you recently put out, which I thought was super cool. And it's the first song that I heard from you, which made me like dig deeper to what else you had in your portfolio.
Probably heard a little journey there from the
I did
stuff.
because the funny thing is you were mentioning you didn't like piano.
In the past.
At first.
Yeah.
And then I listened to some of your songs, and there was, I think, a whole album that you put out there that was like nothing but piano. And that was you, right? Or was that you?
Yeah, so there's a story behind that.
Okay.
So I cannot take credit for some of those piano parts.
Okay.
My buddy Kyle,
Kyle.
awesome pianist as well.
Yeah.
And he's like a professional piano player. He, has played in bands. He tours. He's a piano teacher. He teaches my daughter.
Really?
Yeah, he's amazing. So like that intro for that song that you're gonna play, that's all him.
Yes.
If you hear, like I have some songs out where the melody is all piano and that's like the main part of it, but it's very simple.
Gotcha.
And that's how I can play. I mean, I can play chords, I can play piano, but I don't have the music theory that you get because I quit piano, which I regret. If anyone is thinking about learning music and getting into music and you want to learn an instrument, oh my gosh, I can't stress it enough. Learn the piano, learn the music theory, just the basics, because my process would be going 10 times faster. But I go all off ear and feel.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. I get frustrated at times. But then I have someone like Kyle or my brother come over and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to make this chord, but I can't find it. And they're like, bing. And I'm like, oh, yes. I'm like, let me take a picture of your fingers real quick so I don't forget next time.
No, super, super cool. But I don't want to, should we listen to the, let me.
Let's do it. I love this song. Yeah, that's Kyle.
Old Kyle, huh?
He was over standing behind me in my little studio at home, and I was like, dude, I really want a cool piano intro. So I gave him the chords, I let him jam around for like 20 minutes, and this is what came out.
Dude.
Because I really wanted that, like, and then the drop.
Yeah.
Simple drum beat, but heavy.
But it has that reggae, like, that vibe, bro. Like, it's just... First time I listened to it, I was like, man, honestly, bro, I didn't know what to expect, right?
Yeah, you don't know.
I'm like, you were like, hey, guys, listen to it. I'm like, yeah, sure. And like, I was on my way back from driving, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, bro, this is some good jazz.
Making you move.
Yeah, bro. Like, okay.
Every time I'm feeling down, you make it okay. Wrap your arms around me, tell me in my ear, not today. We need to conquer the world. It's okay to work, but don't forget you have to play. We get so caught up in the daily grind. Sometimes I need some help to find the reason why I do this in the first place. Help me keep my peace of mind when I'm with you, girl. I feel like I can do just about anything in the world. And when I'm with you,
Bro, vibe, bro.
Yeah, dude.
It's such a vibe.
I hope everyone has someone that they can feel like this about.
But I was going to ask you, right? The cover, that's your wife?
That's my wife.
Yeah, man.
We took that. We went on vacation. We were in Hawaii during the holidays. And I was like thinking about what I wanted my album cover to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I wrote the song about her. Like, I'm going to throw her on there.
Yeah.
And she's not the one that's like, she doesn't necessarily want to be on the cover and stuff. I was like, I'm going to use your picture, but I'll mess with it.
Yeah, yeah.
It won't be like you just smiling there. I love this part.
without repercussions and keep on flying high. But down on Mother Earth, you gotta earn it first. You need somebody, the antibody for
Greed and thirst. Yeah, so she's that person for me. She gets me. She drives me to do great things.
Yeah.
She makes me feel invincible.
That's amazing.
But then
man.
when I get like out of line, she puts me in check.
No, you always need somebody to check you, right?
I do, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Should we listen to the next one? There was another one that I want to listen to.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the next one is, dude. Oh my gosh, that last part where I started screaming, that was not planned for the song.
Really?
I just started getting after it.
Really?
I just started getting after. I was like, I'm just gonna do it and listen back. And I started screaming. And I've never sang like that in any of my songs, but it came out of me. And I was like, it was one take.
You felt it.
And it was done. I was like, I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
That bada-bop away, bada-bop away. I was just having fun, dude. So I heard that. I like heard that come out of me. I did it and I loved it. So then I went and I harmonized it. I was like, I gotta make that a thing.
It's such a cool vibe, dude. All right, man. So let's listen to the next one. This is another one that I want to listen for you. Okay. Which is super cool vibe.
Yeah.
Super like chill kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff you want to put. You just got, I don't know, you're partying with your homies. You're at the beach, maybe. You kind of like, put this on. It's like, yeah, man.
We're on the verge of that
Yeah, super like mellow.
Yeah, laid back,
Super
you know?
vibey.
Yeah. So what was the process behind this one, man? Because this is like, again, such a like just chill, cool vibe, you know? And I guess, you know, you're saying you kept it simple on this one, but I mean, really, it just harmonizes. It just comes together, you know?
It's a beautiful day. I don't know. I was thinking about like, I was getting ready to release my first song, and I was like, I don't know. This one was kind of weird. It happened super fast. I was like, I'm gonna record. I got all my stuff set back up to record.
Yeah.
Had my room. I just finished kind of messing around, like trying to treat it a little bit in regards to just sound and trying to get good everything. I was like, it's the first time I was gonna record my drums and actually try to make them mixable, make them sound good. So I set it up and I wrote that little. So I wrote that first, and I was like, ooh, that's cool. So then I just found the root notes, and I started playing the skank, you know, skank, skank. And I started recording that, and then I just laid the drums down. And I'm saying it like, you know, obviously that's what I did. I laid the instruments down, but it just all started from that little riff.
Really?
And then after I started doing that, the first thing I wrote vocal-wise was the chorus. Up, 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 and away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I wrote in there, because I was like, man, that sounds cool, because I did that, and then I went back to it, and I realized it was in a wrong key. But then I realized that would be the perfect note to go to in the chorus to change it up.
Got it.
So then I wrote a bass line to it and started adding it. But that's how that kind of transpired. It started with the little guitar riff. Then I just added a little bass to it. So a little bass instrument so I could listen to it.
Yeah.
I never ended up changing any of them. Those were all my like first tracks just to scratch it up. I just left them because I performed them fine. Like I said, it's not super complicated. It was just simple whatever. So I like wrote them real quick and did it. And then, I wrote the chorus, and it was in the wrong key because I was singing it like in my car. And I was like, oh, I love that. I was like, up, 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 and away. I was like, this is sweet. So I did that, and then, I was like, oh, it's the wrong key. It doesn't feel right. And I was like, wait. So I just like played the verse instrumental, and then I popped into the next note, and it just flowed, dude. It just flowed. So instead of getting stuck on it, I had all these things I wanted to change and add and do this. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I want to get my first song out. I'm not going to wait.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get it out for summer. I didn't get it out till like October. And everyone's like, some people are like, oh, you should wait till next summer. I'm like, hell no. I am way too pumped on this.
Yeah.
So I put it out in October, and it did well. People love that song. Some people love that song the best.
Yo, bro, like I'm telling you, like I think I told you this last time that we were talking, but like you're just waiting for your break, man, honestly, because a lot of this stuff, bro, like you compare it to all the artists that are out there, man, it's like the vibe behind it is just there, you know what I'm saying?
I
like,
appreciate it, man.
It flows, bro.
That's all we want to hear.
No,
we want to know other people are enjoying it.
You know what it does? It moves people. And I'll tell you something, I think I mentioned to you this before, but I music for me is a big passion in the sense that I love listening to stuff. For me, what moves me, it works weird, but it's not necessarily the lyrics. But for me, it's always the melody.
Yeah.
The melody for me does something. So whenever I listen to a new song, it's always going to be the melody that attracts me, the beats, the bass.
Yep.
That's going to just like, if it's a catchy something, I'm like, oh, yeah. And then sometime down the line after, maybe I'm already like, okay, I'll listen to all this like
totally get it, dude.
Let me listen to the lyrics. Let's see what it says. And they'll be like, oh my God. I'm like, the lyrics are so freaking cool too. Like this is good.
It's funny. I'm the same way. And I will find myself on some songs that I love.
Okay.
Like some of my favorite songs that I probably still don't know what the actual lyrics are, but I'm singing parts of it.
Okay.
Like some people will be like, when they're listening to that song, I've seen people being like, oh, the skimpy bikinis, oh, you beautiful wahinis.
The wahinis,
I'm like, skimpy bikinis.
Yeah.
And they're singing it, and they're like, wait, what are you saying there? I'm like, you just sang it. What do you mean? And I'm the same way. I'll sing stuff, and I'll be like, I don't know what all the lyrics mean. And then I'll go back sometimes and listen to all the lyrics. I do so more now that I am understanding more about, as I've grown and understand the work that goes behind it. But I will say, there's a lot of songs out there, and the lyrics are so on the surface,
right?
And they're just whatever.
Yeah.
They're not deep. It's all about the melody, and the beat, and the quality of the sound.
Yeah.
If you can capture that and you can get people moving, they'll love it. But then there's other people that really care about like, you know, if they're just hearing an acoustic guitar and a singer,
Yeah.
you're going to focus on the lyrics a lot more because that's all there is.
Correct.
You know, the guitar's there to support the lyrics and the
Yeah.
vocals. And that's where, you know, you get people that really want to understand the story behind it and understand about what the artist is going through in life and, you know, wonder, like, why did they write this song?
Yeah.
You know, get them thinking
Yeah.
a little bit.
Because I mean, everything that you write, I'm assuming is something that you've lived or something,
Absolutely.
a passion something that you've encountered and
All my
experienced.
stuff has been inspiration from something in my life.
Gotcha.
You can hear a lot of it come through on the EP that I did. That I Love What You Have. That was an interesting time. That was a really interesting time. I was upset about some stuff.
Really?
And I was struggling, but I had my music. So that's where I put it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
That's
I was
really, really cool.
That song is, that whole EP is very, very rock and roll influenced.
Got it.
Very rock and roll. I mean, one of them, I have a vocalist, Britt Pisanelli, who I've known and performed and sang with since elementary school.
Whoa.
I haven't talked to her in so long. I reached out to her and I was like, I hear your voice. I'm making music. Will you come over? And it was super cool. We had like a little reunion. She got to come over. And I had her sing, and I literally sent her Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And I said, listen to the vocals at the end of this song. And I just want that similar type of vibe when you come over. She's like, all right. I didn't even send her like the song. I just said, listen to this song and just get that vibe because she just wails. So
Wow.
there's a song on there that One Beating Heart, and I had her come. But that whole album is, it was deep, dude, for me.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
deep.
No,
And
I hear
very
you.
rock and roll too.
I hear you. No, that's super,
Fun.
super cool. So just going back to what you said about It's a Beautiful Day.
Yeah.
You said you started off with just the like a riff.
Yep. Little guitar riff.
Little guitar riff. Then you went into the little like skank kind of like,
Yep.
vibe. Yep. Then what was next?
After that, I laid bass and drums down.
Bass
Just so
drums.
I could have some movement.
So for you, the lyrics part just came after you had
Yeah,
already.
lyrics were lyrics were like, I had the I even have a structure of the song. I had the verse, I had a piece of a song written.
Yeah.
I had something going with a little melody.
Gotcha.
That ended up just being kind of the intro and the outro throughout the song.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it's like, oh, it's simple, it's catchy. I like it.
Yeah.
I kept it. And then I started, and then the I don't remember how it came, but I swear I was just driving and I was like, I just started singing in my head. I was like,
popped in.
up and away, da 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 da, da 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 da, and I was like, that's catchy.
Yeah.
And I kept doing it, and immediately I was like, where's my phone? I was like, da 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 da, singing like so
Yeah.
I didn't forget it. And then when I got in, to my studio and I'm singing it, all of a sudden I was like flowing, dude. Like I was in flow.
That's really
where
cool,
everything just starts going. You're sharp and like everything is working.
You're in the moment. You're in the zone.
Yeah, it's like that. What is that movie? Limitless, maybe, where he takes those pills. And
Oh,
he's like,
yeah. Yeah.
and he's like, everything's perfect.
Yep.
Dude, that's flow.
That's crazy.
I was in flow when I started writing that, so I was like going. It was easy. It was
Yeah.
coming out, and I was just like having so much fun. And that's where like the all the beautiful wahinis with
Yeah.
their skimpy bikinis, and then like that rhythm just kind of I started bouncing in. So
Yeah.
like, oh, the beautiful wahinis, go get your skimpy bikinis.
Yeah.
And I was like having fun. And my wife came in. I was like, what do you think of this? And I started singing it, and she's like, that's catchy. And I was like, cool. I'm gonna keep going.
No,
I'll be in here all night. See you in the morning.
No, man, that's really, really good. But there's one more I want to listen to, and then I think I told you this one just for whatever reason, man. Like it made me vibe, bro.
Yes, dude.
It
I
just
love
made me
this
vibe,
one.
bro. Like I listened to this one, and I've been listening to this one a lot. lately.
Hell yeah. I love that you love this one. I have a couple friends that really love this one.
Really?
I had one friend that reached out to me and was like, he's like, bro, finally one for the dads. And I was like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, dude, this
is
just the way it
super
starts,
minimal,
bro.
too,
Yeah,
until
I think that's what I
it
love
carries
about it,
in.
that it just builds up.
Put a tent in the back on the grass today. Grab a couple pillows and they'll play all day. Peek inside, they hide and scream when I come in. We'll find the time to do it all again. Find a box
Yeah, this one is straight up just about being there for your kids.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And it's called Just Be There.
Just be there.
Yeah.
Just be there.
And I love that you have your girls, you know, like playing the
Hell
drums.
yeah, dude.
It's super cool on the album cover.
I had to because they had the conga on there. So
Yeah.
it's like,
In every way, I'm gonna be right here. Wherever you go, I'm near.
But imagine this. I mean, I started listening to this song. I'm like, oh man, and you know, it kept me wanting more. I was like, oh, imagine if there was like a little,
and then I gave it to
like
you.
like a little bit more, like a bass line. You know, like it's pretty simple, but I'm like the beat is just there. You know.
That's awesome. I love that.
And I think that's art, man, because you know, like I love
Little
that part. Yeah.
that was the last thing I added.
I'm like,
Here, I love this though.
yes.
It's like a little flamenco clapping.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, that changed the vibe, but I am digging it. I don't care.
No, bro, it just meshes all so well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's building up, man. I'm like, okay, a little more there, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I'm still like, oh man, I wonder if he's gonna, you know, like, but it was getting into the song the first time I listened to it, because
Here it comes.
yeah, it's like 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and it's almost 2 minutes in, and now,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, there's nothing else to it. There, and I was like, no way. This one, dude, just had me going.
I purposely was like, I need to build this somehow, but there wasn't a super lot of room. I was like, whatever, I'll just give it to him right at the end.
Yeah, bro, but it just, I was like, oh man, like this at the end, I was like, oh, I got goosebumps the first time I
Hell
heard it, because
yeah,
it's just so good. I'm like,
God, so cool. Thank you.
no, man, like
Thank
honestly, and it's
you.
art. That's what I'm telling you. Like, and again, you know, like, I guess, you know, really, art is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
Like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder is like what they say. But honestly, man, like I know, like to me personally, this one just hit. You know, it's just like there.
Wow, dude, I love that.
So it's super cool to. Yeah, man, it's just good stuff right here. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was super fun to write. I wrote this one in the backyard while the girls were playing.
Really?
They were playing. They had a box. I wrote it very literal.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just want this thing to be real. They had a box outside. I helped them turn it into a house. We made it a door. That's where those
cool.
like, you know,
Yeah.
get a box with a flap and it's a door. It's a house their way. And then, you know, you're peeking in, scaring them. I mean, it's just, we all do it with our kids.
Yeah.
If you're not, you should be.
Yeah. Well,
But all you got to do is just be there.
Yeah.
And that's the point of the whole song is like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It could be good. It could be bad. They could be old. They could be young. The point of it is like, no matter what, I'll be here for you.
yeah.
That's it.
No, I love the message. I love the song. The melody to me just like so catchy, man.
Thanks,
it's one of those
dude.
things that I was like, really cool. Obviously, I love the other ones too.
Yeah,
like they're
yeah.
all super.
But this one hit you good.
This one, it just hit the heart. I guess it was what it was, you know. And it's just like the melody just like all blended in so well, kept me wanting more. It's like, you know, like,
you.
and it's just to me, you did such an amazing job with this one, with all the other ones too. The latest one, you know, also really cool because again, I didn't know what to expect the first time. You know,
Yeah,
you were just
the
like,
first thing you
listen
heard
to
of
it.
me.
And I was like. I'm like, dude, this is for real. Like this guy knows what the heck he's doing. I'm like, this is amazing. But
Yeah, really appreciate it, man.
nah, man,
Seriously.
for sure. So aside from your passion, man,
Yep.
what else do you do?
I got more passion.
Yeah?
More passion on the professional side.
Tell me.
You know, I think the coolest thing that I find in life is that life, no matter what you do, is about relationships.
Okay.
So I've been fortunate enough to be able to transform that into a professional career as well. You know, naturally in sales, if you're good with people, you know, sales just comes from relationships.
Yeah.
And that's really everything is built off of that. So at that point, you know, what I've found through my growing and my mistakes and my learning was like just find people that you want to work with and then just make friends everywhere.
Yeah.
Make relationships and, you know, be smart, do what you're supposed to do, be sharp, you know, tend to people's needs and also set boundaries. And when you're able to do that, you're able to have a really successful sales career in my situation.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been working at the company I'm at now. I'm not going to name any names.
No, yeah, you don't have to.
Just because everything is maybe changing soon.
No, and that's okay.
But yeah, I've been at the company now for like 8 years.
It's a good chunk of time.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I gave him a good chunk of my life. I did really well there. I did well for my family. I did
Good.
very well for the company.
Really good.
And now I'm just getting to, I will say, I love the people I work with too. And that's one of the hardest things about making a big change. And I say making a change because right now I'm literally in the middle of
a potential change.
kind of two companies fighting for me a little bit, which is kind of cool, which tells me I'm doing my job pretty good.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I hate to say it like this because it sounds cocky, but I promise I'm not trying to be cocky.
No, yeah, just say how it comes out, man.
It comes pretty easy to me. This job, being in sales, like national, global, the corporate life, I hate that I have to look a certain way,
Okay.
but I'm willing to do that. It doesn't change me and who I am. It's just, hey, if you want to do this and you want to make money doing this, you got to look the part a little bit. I definitely pushed the limits on that, though. The last company, it was like everyone was clean shaven, 100%.
Yeah.
And I came in and I had a goatee. And they're like, what are you going to do about that? And I was like, I'm not going to do anything about that. You hired me like this. I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
And then I killed it. And they're like, oh, okay. And then people started growing beards. And they're like, dude, you ruined it. And I was like, well, what is the problem?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
It's like
with
people
it.
got sleeves at restaurants now. Like, get over it.
Yeah. Anyway, so really successful. So that's another passion of yours. And again, to one of the previous episodes, one of the guys that I had here, supernatural, like to talk to people as well.
Yeah.
He calls himself himself an introvert.
Okay.
But to me, he's completely the opposite. But he's you call it relationships. He calls it networking.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Same thing,
At the end
yeah.
of the day, just getting to know people, meeting people, and being able to understand how can because something that he taught me was how can I add value? Mm-hmm. How can I add value to this person that I'm going to go meet? Because a lot of times as human beings, our first thing is like, what can you give me?
Yeah.
And so we were talking about this because for me, again, it doesn't come so natural to go and just open up myself and talk to people. I know that the project that we've been doing together over the past month, everybody knows who you are, bro, because you're so out there and you're just yourself and you're just like, like a happy-go-lucky
Oh, you
type
mean
of
within
guy.
the group?
Yes.
Oh, come on. We all know each other in that group,
I mean,
dude.
we do, but there's some people that shine more than others in a certain way. And it's just because of that, right? There's just the type of person you are. To me, I'm like, I'm always the guy in the background, bro, trying to analyze how everybody is. And then I'll be like, oh, I have something in common with that person. Let me go talk to them about
Yeah,
this.
dude. Well, that's exactly what happened. So
And it did, right?
That makes sense. You know what you're doing.
It does, but then I want to, and again, not to force myself, but to be more natural around people, and it's just something it's an introvert thing for me. Really, it is an introvert thing where I just feel sometimes it's more intimidation than not,
Dude.
than anything. But
well,
I'm trying
it's crazy
to open up
that
that
you're
shell.
doing this
It is right
because you're good at it.
No, I appreciate
And
that,
it's
man.
awesome.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, this is putting yourself out real nice.
But it's trying to break out of that shell because
Good. You got to break out of what's comfortable. Otherwise, you don't grow.
Absolutely.
Straight up. Now, I will say, just real quick, what you're going to back to say, because I've talked about this with so many people. You're talking about like talking to people and doing like a sales job on that level and how it doesn't come natural for most. I truly believe that and this is not a good or a bad thing. Yeah. I truly believe that there are, there's two types of people, and sales is a very, very specific type of person.
Yeah.
And it is not something that is taught. It is something that is inside of you.
Yeah.
And you just do it or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just, I've seen people go into jobs like I do, and they instantly like get depressed.
Right.
And they just hate it. And they don't want to do it, but they force themselves to. And that does not last very long. And then it just crashes and it burns. And it's like they go do something else that they don't have to do that in. And their life is amazing.
Right.
So it's like, man, like don't force something that's not you,
I think
try it.
No, you
for
couldn't-
sure.
yeah.
Try it. Try everything.
You couldn't have said it better, because for me that wasn't it, right? And then that's kind of like the reason why I left. I mean, I did it for a long time, for 15 years, man. It was a chunk of time, and
Hell yeah.
not to, and again, it's not to put, there's people that thrive in the 9 to 5 and that's their thing because they
absolutely.
love what they do.
Yeah, and they
But
like the consistency.
They love the
and
consistency,
patterns, and
maybe this is maybe not as the more conservative approach, in regards to. For me, I allowed it to get to a point where it was just I could not do it anymore. I could not keep forcing myself to do that anymore because it just wasn't organic. It wasn't natural. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I literally stepped to a cliff, had no freaking wings, and just took the leap. And I'm like, let's see if I freaking grow wings on the way down.
I love it.
Because, but
And I bet you did.
So far, there's wings. I'm still floating, man. I'm like, I haven't crashed, so it's still working.
Hell yeah.
But I don't think people should really get to that point, is what I'm saying. Because you should do something more, like I literally what I mean is I went in, I had no plan, no job lined up. I just said, hey, here's my 2 weeks. I'm done.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't get to that point, right? And I personally allowed it to, but it's been a growing experience, to be honest. And it's what I needed, maybe,
Absolutely.
Because
I don't think you can look at it as I shouldn't have let it get to that point. I don't think you can look at it as a regret, if you will. Like, I don't think you should look at it as a regret. Maybe you're always gonna, when you make a big change like that, if the change makes you feel better, you're always gonna say, like, why didn't I do that earlier?
Absolutely.
Why didn't I do that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever? But sometimes you've got to put the time in to know that you don't like something that much. You've got to let it break you, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes to sometimes, you got to build yourself a big enough cliff to jump off.
Maybe
if you
that's
want
what
it
it
to
was,
be
right?
big, right?
Yeah.
To where you need wings and you can't just tumble down and then climb back to something that's like, mediocre for you again.
Go back to the same spot that I was
It's got to
in.
be drastic.
Yeah, maybe
Go
you're
big.
right.
You
Go
know,
big, yeah.
Life's got to be epic.
You know what? Another way that I think I like to think about it now. And yeah, you're right. It's not a regret. It's just maybe it's from that perspective of I wish I should have done it sooner.
Of course.
Right. But here's the other part to it. I don't think I was ready for it sooner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it got to that point because I was ready now at this point in my life to take that leap, right? And go through the learning curves, the growing pains, and everything else that I'm still going through. But it's still working out so far.
Yeah.
But I think if I would have done it at a sooner time, maybe not, maybe yes, I don't know. But I don't think I was mentally ready. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I did learn a lot of things, obviously, in my career, through the bank.
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff that now I apply even to my business, nowadays. But it all, I think, again, it's all a matter of what, learn from what you've done, learn from mistakes you've done as well, right? And go through the growing pains. And if you really want to grow into something else, like, don't live with a what if, It's better to live with I did it or I failed, but let me see what I learned.
I tried it
instead of what if I would have done that, you know?
I have things that I wish I would have done too. I have things that I still wish that I've done. But let's not forget, at the same time, you hear all these people and they say, take the jump, take the leap, this and that. And everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then it comes time. Let's not forget that you have a family.
Yeah.
And you've got to take care of them. I mean, yes, it sounds all dandy and great to be like, I'm going to jump. It's going to be great. I'm going to make this new life for myself. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then the real work begins. And then all this, like, it's not that easy. It is easy to say, here's my 2 weeks for sure. But I think timing is everything. And you've got to do it the right way still sometimes.
No, and to that point, you're 100% right. Because when I did it, my wife, so yes, you're right. I was sole provider for a good chunk of time there. And then I was still like, for another good chunk of time after that, I was the one with the higher income, between my spouse and I. And not until my wife, she has her own business that she started too, and it started going really well.
Cool.
Not until she became, like the breadwinner. I'm like, it's my time.
It's my time.
I'm like, if I don't take the leap now, I'm like, when? I'm like,
Yeah.
this chance might not come again.
Exactly.
So
and you took it.
I took it.
It's about finding. It's like the opportunity will present itself.
Yeah.
You either take it or you don't.
Yeah, and I think again, it's all about time. I think everything that you learn in life, or when things happen, because a lot of times in the past, I've always been like, man, why doesn't this happen now? Or why doesn't this happen? Or why, like, just things don't happen when you necessarily want them, but when you're ready for them.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
I agree.
Everything that we talked, I think, again, thank you so much for your time here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I think talking to you, it just opens up, your journey, just going through your journey, the adversities that you've been presented with, and just the way that you continuously go, right? Learning, finding it, things, your own resources, right? It's such a cool thing, because I think as human beings, we can make a million excuses to not do something. but it really just takes one reason to do something.
Absolutely.
To actually do it and execute, an action plan, whatever you actually want to do.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
And your dreams is just one of those things, they're going to continue to stay dreams until you actually make them a reality.
Absolutely.
And I think for you, man, it's such a, having your passion, and just learning something that you love, right? And continuously going down the path of that growth. Now I want to learn engineering. Now I want to learn how to, mix the vocals, how to do all these things.
Yeah.
You even did your own video, right?
Yeah.
For It's a Beautiful Day.
Oh yeah. Well, I had somebody come in and do that, but
the drone part,
I directed it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought the drone and everything.
Yeah.
I just told him exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And like where I wanted it. And he came and did the filming. And I mean, he was solid for sure. Like he was a professional guy. But I came in, I was like, I hope you're okay, but like I know exactly what I want.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I think something that I can personally learn from you is just, I love the passion that you have for things, the energy that you put into it, and just the outcome, right? It's just you mentioned something earlier that was, you put that It's a Beautiful Day. You put I'm saying it right. That's the title, right?
It's a beautiful day.
It's a Beautiful Day. You put it out, even though people are like, "Nah, dude, wait till the summer."
Yeah.
You're like, "No,
like,
bro,
nah,
like
I can't.
It's October. It's okay.
It's coming out.
It's gonna go."
Yeah.
And I love that because you're like, I'm not gonna wait because why sit on something when you can move on to the next thing, and by this summer, I'm sure you'll have a banger or something that's gonna like
right?
just be as cool or even better.
Hopefully,
yeah. And I think it's a good thing, or it's a good way to continue making that progress, taking one step at a time. Doesn't matter the timing. It's just, you put it out there. I think the world's going to receive it, man. And I
thanks,
think,
dude.
Like I said, meeting you under these circumstances, again, just doing the other thing that we're doing on the side, the project.
The project.
The project.
After we do it, we can talk about it.
After we do it, we'll talk about it.
Super fun.
Yeah. But just, just meeting you there and just everything, I think, it's just super, super cool to talk to you and get to know you as a person, man.
Yes. Likewise, man. Well, I, again, appreciate you having me on here. This is super chill vibe. Love it. I'll be happy to come back whenever.
Yeah, for sure.
And this was fun.
Yeah, man.
This was super fun.
I'm glad you liked it too, bro. So
yeah, dude.
Thanks for your time, man. Yeah.
I don't want to hit the mic.
Cool. Well, if you have any other questions, you can follow Justin. Go ahead and what's your handle?
Justin Vidal Music.
Justin Vidal Music. And just check him out. I mean, honestly, this guy has some good stuff out there that I think needs to be listened to. And we had the chance to listen to it on it here, but yeah, go out there, check some of his music out, and see if you like the same vibe that you get the same vibe that I do. Cause yeah, man, they're good jams, dog.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you having me on board, man.